What's up, motherfuckers? It's almost time to end the first day of our Hater Mania, motherfuckers. Hater Mania 0. So for all of you that have yet to subscribe, I suggest you do so now for more great content up in this bitch. You understand what I'm saying? But before we call it a night, let's review Raw right now on the Hater channel. I'll reserve my conclusion about if this was a good show or not for the end. You know what I'm saying? But let's get started, all right? First of all, the show starts, never gonna keep me down, never gonna, you know, as usual, right, with the stupid-ass theme song. Anyways, Seth Rollins and AOP come out, which makes me automatically hate this segment, right? AOP had like a million vignettes, like they were gonna go and do some crazy shit, and all they did was become lackeys for Seth Rollins. So it is what it is, whatever. Let's see where it goes, right? They come out, Rollins cuts the exact same promo he cut last week of the, I did everything right, you know, and like now Kevin Owens found out. Like, who gives a shit? Like, this is like such a mid-card feud that they're pretending is like a big deal, you know? And it was further solidified as a mid-card feud later on tonight, but I'll get to that in a bit, motherfuckers. So, and Seth says he's sorry for what he's going to do, right? So you're expecting some crazy shit to happen with Seth Rollins, right? Whatever. Next up, the OC come out after the Viking Raiders, and they pretty much say that the only time that the Viking Raiders have lost in WWE is against the OC. So, since last night, the match ended in a double countout, I guess. The OC just wants a rematch. You know, it is what it is. But this time, it's not for the titles. I don't know why. Like last night, it was for the titles. So, I guess it wasn't an open challenge. Whatever, right? The match is all right. Nothing too crazy here. Just like a regular Viking Raiders match, more or less. Like the Viking Raiders, like they're just spot monkeys. You know what I mean? Like these guys aren't good wrestlers. Like the matches are always the same. Erick, like, just goes in the ring, does all right, and gets his ass whooped, and then tags in Ivar, or the other way around, right? And when the other one gets tagged in, the hot tag, they have like the same sequence of moves every time. Like Hansen or Ivar rather, he'll do like a little sidewalk slam where he falls forward. Then he'll do like the little cross body on the seated opponent. Then he'll do like the thing where the person runs towards the corner and he sentons them like while in the corner. He'll do a Bronco Buster and he'll do a cartwheel and a spin kick. Like every time this is gonna happen. The other guy, I keep forgetting them. Erick, I guess. Erick and Ivar, yeah. Erick, his things are he does a little gut wrench suplex into a power bomb thing where he does like a gut wrench gut buster and then power bombs the guy or something like that. He does the little knee thing that he does where he knees the guy in the face and yells right in their face like immediately afterwards. They have their like spots. I mean, they're not like, they really aren't great wrestlers. They're just complete spot monkeys. But if for some reason it's like interesting because they're like big guys who are spot monkeys. So, you know, it's different than what you usually see. But I don't really think that WWE needs to waste their time with these guys. You know, like, I hate to say it, but I'd rather watch like an AEW tag match because at least like the Dark Order or Private Party, like they'll do a bunch of things. Like they have their spots, but they'll do more than that. You know what I mean? Like it's not basically like a singles match and then a guy gets tagged in, does their spots, they hit their finisher. But this time, Ivar went for a moonsault. He missed. This led to what's his face? Carl Anderson, Hot Carl, motherfuckers. Hot Carl tagged in Luke Gallows. Carl hit a kick to Erick. They hit the Magic Killer on Ivar and they pinned him 1, 2, 3. Samoa Joe lost his mind. He's like, new champs, new champs. Then he forgot that like this wasn't a title match, so he corrected himself and he's like, oh, they should be the new champs, you know. And I agree. Like I don't understand. Like honestly, if a champion has a match where his title could be on the line, his title should be on the line. You know what I mean? Like I remember watching wrestling with my grandma, like when I was little, and I was trying to explain to her what the hell this was. She's like, all right, so the guy just beat the champion, so he's the new champion, right? I'm like, no, because it wasn't for the title. She's like, what? I don't understand. He beat the champion. I'm like, yeah, grandma, but it's not for the title. She's like, why wouldn't it be for the title? You know what I mean? So, yeah, which is a good question if you think about it, but it is what it is, right? Next up, we had the mandatory weekly segment of Erick Rowan beating up a jobber. This is getting old, all right? The first week, I was slightly curious to see what he had in the cage. It's obviously some sort of rat. And when they reveal the rat, it's either a rat or a snake. When they reveal whatever animal is in there, right? I can already imagine it. King's gonna be like, oh my God, like, what is that? Like the first thing he's gonna say is, what is that? And then someone's gonna be like, it's some sort of rat, right? They're gonna be like, oh, what's wrong with Erick Rowan for having a rat? And it's just, come on, man. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, who gives it? What's the payoff? You know? I can tell you right now what's going to happen is this. It's going to be revealed, and then eventually someone's going to fuck with it. Someone's going to steal it. Someone's going to annoy him with it. That's like the only purpose of this thing, and it's stupid. Erick Rowan is dumb, man. I hate this guy. You know, so they need to release him immediately, and stop. And if they don't, just stop having to beat jobbers, man. It's been like 8 weeks. You've paid this guy like 2 months' salary. Let's just say that Erick Rowan gets like, I don't know, $300K a year. You know what I mean? You've paid him like 25 grand to just beat up jobbers, man. Like, you just giving him money for nothing, basically. I mean, I guess he fills a segment, but it is what it is. Then we have, like, this week's mandatory Lana segment. Lana and Lashley come out. I knew it wasn't over. I knew it wasn't fucking over, right? They come out. Lana asks Lashley to ask her to marry her, she said. I think what she meant to say was, I want to ask you to ask me to marry you. But it is what it is. So, there you go. She's not... I used to think she was good on the mic. I think she was good on the mic when she could play off the crowd. You know what I mean? Like where she could like take the mic and be like, Putin says this, and everyone would be like, boo. And then during that boo, she'd be able to think about what she was gonna say next. But this is not working out, man. Like it's not working out. Now she's just like pushing her Instagram, and I know it's supposed to be like part of her character, but I really believe that she just wants to push her Instagram because like she hopes that one day she has like whatever, like 2 million followers, whatever the fuck the magic number is on Instagram. You know, so. This was like a complete waste of time. Like Rusev didn't come out to ruin this proposal, which leads me to believe that what's going to happen is in the next 3 weeks or so they're going to have like a wedding, right? Lana is going to get married to Lashley, and what's going to happen is Rusev is going to interfere in the wedding. Somehow, either he's going to come and attack Lashley to ruin the wedding, or he's going to be like the cameraman or something, like like blending in, and it's going to be so obvious because he's so huge. Or they're going to do something like Rusev does like a Titantron type thing and he just says like, Lana, like Bobby lied to you or something like shit like that just to continue the angle. But either way, this was just a waste of time. Like them coming out just so Lashley can say, will you marry me? It's just really stupid, man. Like this is not like neither Lana nor Lashley have been booked to be interesting enough to the point where like now we can, look at them and be like, all right, like it's going to be nice. Let's see what's next with this thing. Nobody thinks that. Nobody wants to think that. Nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to see this. It's a complete waste of time, Next up, we had the Gauntlet match for a shot at the U.S. title, a shot against Rey Mysterio. And here's the problem. There's so many problems with this. Number one, new Michael Cole basically says that what did he say? That this match is going to involve like 5 or 6 of the top stars in WWE. And then it shows them, and they're all jobbers. Like, they're all complete jobbers or comedy acts. None of these guys are top stars by any definition, you know what I mean? It's a complete waste. So the Gauntlet match starts, R-Truth comes out, cuts a promo about how, like, he used to look up to Cena. I thought that was great because R-Truth is, like, the same age, if not older than Cena. Then he says he's going to be the first ever, like, U.S. 24/7 champion. And then he does a bunch of, like, other shitty jokes. And the match starts. First up, R-Truth versus Tozawa. Tozawa wins, I think with a roll-up. I didn't really pay attention because I knew neither one of these guys was going to win the match. So then Ricochet comes out, hits like a ripcord recoil, which is essentially a code breaker, on Tozawa, pins him, right? Then what's-his-face comes out. Matt Hardy comes out. They have a pretty decent back-and-forth exchange. Matt Hardy does a Splash Mountain Bomb, which is a sit-out crucifix bomb. Harkening back to SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. That was one of like the moves that I used to do with him a lot because he had it in the game and it was his yellow move, which were like the signatures back then. Like the names of the move would pop up, and if they were in yellow, they were like the signature move of the guy. So that was the signature move, I think. Then after that, Humberto Carrillo comes and eventually beats Ricochet with a moonsault. The moonsault was pretty nice. Other than that, he sucks. The last guy. As soon as I realized that both Andrade and Carrillo were in this match, I knew that they were going to be the last two because they have like a rivalry. So the other three people were just there for no reason. I guess to justify the fact that that Andrade was able to come in and just beat the shit out of Humberto Carrillo, throw him to the outside, and DDT him on the concrete floor after he removed the padding, right? This leads, so I guess the match is a no contest. I don't understand. Like, Humberto Carrillo should be the number one contender. Like if anything, you're going to disqualify Andrade. You're not going to undo the fact that Humberto Carrillo beat Ricochet. But whatever, who cares, right? Rey Mysterio comes to make the save, right? That's another reason why I knew it was going to be like this, because they're obviously trying to do this like Latino, like Hispanic rivalry, which I can dig, I guess, but I mean, make up your minds, motherfuckers. So Rey Mysterio comes to save him. They wheel Humberto Carrillo out. Seth Rollins and AOP show up, motherfuckers. They show up. Seth Rollins is holding a pipe. More specifically, he's holding Rey Mysterio's pipe. He's about to pipe him up, you know what I'm saying? Pipe dreams up in this bitch. And what happens is Seth Rollins and AOP go into the ring. Rey Mysterio instinctively attacks AOP. They whoop his ass. Seth Rollins comes in and says, "Why are you attacking us, Rey? We're just here to talk." Right? Basically, Seth Rollins is pissed off because Rey Mysterio gave the pipe to Kevin Owens. He probably gave him the pipe more ways than one, you know what I'm saying? So he gave the pipe to Kevin Owens, and justifiably so. Seth Rollins is upset, right? I mean, I don't know if Seth Rollins should be upset. AOP should be upset, right? Because the idea of like, oh, wait a second, like, why are you giving someone a pipe to beat me up? You know, fuck you, I'm gonna beat your ass, right? So, other than the fact that Seth Rollins wasn't involved in this pipe situation until the very end when it was revealed that he was in cahoots with AOP, this was really dumb, right? Like, why would he be upset that Rey Mysterio gave a pipe to Owens to beat AOP? Like, Kevin Owens is justified in trying to beat up AOP, who's been attacking him for no reason, right? So, nonetheless, Seth Rollins says something really stupid. Like, I forget how he phrased it. He was like, "Oh, Ray, like, I'm a merciful man, so like I won't hurt you," right? So they start leaving the ring. Rollins runs back into the ring, hits a curb stomp on Ray. Complete waste. I guess they're starting a new rivalry, Ray versus Seth Rollins. I don't like the fact that Brock Lesnar isn't around. It really detracts a lot from the show, because now we have to pretend that the U.S. title is somehow like relevant. You know, it's never been relevant. It never will be. We have to pretend that it's somehow like this important title. So it is what it is, but I did not like it at all, motherfuckers. Then we had Asuka versus Deonna Purrazzo. The only time I've heard of this broad is when I did my NXT review before the reboot, motherfuckers. I did this NXT review where I looked at the rosters, and she was in the roster, and I remember I said something like, "I don't know who the fuck this broad is, so just fire her." You know, I was doing like a keep or release. So, I mean, nothing special here. She's from Hackensack, New Jersey. I know a lot of people from Hackensack, New Jersey from my time when I lived in Jersey. She looked like a typical Hackensack girl. I mean, she's attractive, I guess, so, you know, she's all right. But she had a match with Asuka. Obviously, Asuka was going to win. Asuka wins. Then after that, they have this little mini interview with Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch basically says, like they asked Becky Lynch, like, how do you feel about the fact that you suck ass and you lost the title, you didn't win the tag belts last night? And she's like, I feel like I'm being protected because like I'm selling a lot of merch. It was like a humble brag, you know what I mean? It was like on one hand, I'm selling all this merch, so they're protecting me, but on the other hand, like, I can't beat Asuka, it looks like, but I can and I will, you know what I mean? It was so cheesy and corny and annoying, and like it really was horrible, because it's true. Like, it's fucking true if you think about it, right? There's no reason why Becky Lynch should be in the position she's in, if I'm being honest, right? Like, this entire run of Becky Lynch has pretty much been, like, she mentioned TLC last year or something. I don't know what happened in TLC last year, but what I do know is that at the Royal Rumble, right, at last year's Royal Rumble, which was like one of the worst booked events ever, it was almost as bad as the Royal Rumble from the year prior, right? It was just like Asuka beats Becky Lynch clean. I think she makes her tap out to the Asuka lock, right? And this like solidifies, in my opinion, Asuka as the number one female from then till now, honestly, right? Because she beat Becky Lynch, and then like a week later or so, she lost the SmackDown title to Charlotte. just because they needed Charlotte in the main event so that Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey could be at least a little believable and a little entertaining. Because Becky Lynch, I mean, she's like all right, I guess, but I don't think she's that good in the ring personally. And Ronda Rousey is like decent in the ring, but she's too much of a novice to be given like a WrestleMania main event, you know? So you needed Charlotte in there. And they didn't, I don't know, they should have just put in Asuka in there as well, in my opinion, and made it a four-way. It would have been more interesting, or maybe like an elimination match of some sort, right? And have like Ronda Rousey get eliminated first, or something crazy like that, like the three of them eliminate. You know, you could have booked it so much better, right? But they decided not to do that. And with that, you also would have like been able to say like, oh, like the first Japanese person to like main event WrestleMania, which would have been a big deal, you know, it would have gotten you some more press. And Asuka deserved it, all things considered, you know? So Becky Lynch beat her, then Charlotte beat her. But in the meantime, she beat Becky Lynch and then Charlotte beat her. But then in the meantime, Becky Lynch takes Lana's spot in the Royal Rumble because stupid Finlay comes out and Finlay's like, all right, fine, you know, which I call Irish nepotism myself, but it was what it was. I mean, it made no sense, but you knew that like that was going to happen. The way I had it going in my head was Becky Lynch beats Asuka and then joins the Rumble, and Becky Lynch goes into WrestleMania as the SmackDown champion and fights Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's champion, right? That would have made a lot more sense. What doesn't make sense is to have the person that's going to main event WrestleMania and win lose to Asuka, right? So, but that's what they chose. That's what they decided to do. So, yeah, I mean, it didn't make any sense. And then since then, like Asuka has been like kind of like, I don't want to say floundering because I think she's won more matches than she's lost, but she's lost that match here and there, you know, like she wasn't the champion, and then they paired it up with Kairi Sane, and I don't think they started off too hot either. I don't know if Kairi Sane took most of the pins and submissions, but it was what it was, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like, it's just, and now I guess I guess better late than never, right? They're going for this idea that like Becky just can't beat Asuka, right? And this would have been great, except for the fact that this just leads me to believe that Becky Lynch will beat Asuka, and then she will have one of the greatest years in the history of wrestling. Period, man. Comparable to like you know Goldberg's undefeated streak. Like honestly, actually better because for this year she's just won. She's just won everything. She was the champion for a whole year at this point. That's what it's looking like. I don't see her losing it, dropping the title before WrestleMania. I just don't see it. Like she's like I wouldn't be surprised if she main events WrestleMania again, man. That's just fucking weird to me, but I could see it happening. So there we are, you know. Like I enjoyed the fact that she put Asuka over and kind of buried herself by saying like Asuka's the best right now. But it is it is how it is. Like they booked it how they booked it. It likely means Asuka's gonna get buried. Now, don't get me wrong. I couldn't give a shit if Asuka gets buried or not. Like I never even liked Asuka myself, but just just for the sake of booking and storytelling, it'd make more sense to have it done the way that I'm saying than the way they did it. But whatever, right? Next, we had what's it called? AJ Styles versus Orton for literally no reason whatsoever. This was just like a no reason match. I don't know what the benefit is. Oh, also I forgot to say, Seth Rollins challenges Rey Mysterio for the United States title next week, which further cements my theory that Seth Rollins is just a mid-carder. Let's be honest. He is the former WWE Universal Champion, and now he's going after the US title. He's not a real main eventer, man. He really isn't. Like, it's just simple as that. So, yeah, like I said, then we had AJ versus Orton for no reason whatsoever. The match is a typical Orton AJ Styles match. It's all right, but just because there's no reason for it whatsoever, there's no real story here. Like the story is just that like AJ is the heel, Orton is like the tweener kind of face who has screwed AJ Styles for no reason. Like he's gone after AJ Styles for absolutely no reason. In the back of my mind, I'm expecting Seth Rollins to do something here just to kind of tie in this like ridiculous mid-card scene, because like at this point they're all mid-carders, man. There isn't I don't think there's one person in the roster that hasn't gone after the US title in the last year. Like, honestly, everyone on Raw has at some point either been US champion or has gone after the US title. The only exception, of course, is Brock Lesnar, because he's too good for that, and he's not even around. So, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, it's like they're purposely made everyone to a mid-carder. The U.S. title means absolutely nothing. Like, it's on the same level as the 24/7 championship as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't give a shit who the U.S. champion is, right? Like, Humberto Carrillo was this close to winning it. It means nothing. So, yeah, that was just really, really bad, in my opinion. And like I said, I expected Seth Rollins to come out. He didn't, which further makes me want to, like, hate his show opening promo where he said, like, oh, I'm sorry for what I'm going to do. What did you do? You just attacked Rey Mysterio. You did what you did last week. You know, well, apologize for what? Like, he made it seem as if he was going to, like, end someone's career. He didn't. He didn't, like, cause chaos. He just attacked Rey Mysterio after a match. Like, Andrade did worse things today than Seth Rollins. Andrade, like, DDT'd Humberto Carrillo on concrete, which could feasibly take him out for a few weeks, kayfabe-wise, right? What did he do? What did Rollins do? He just attacked Rey Mysterio after a match. Not even after a match. He attacked Rey Mysterio and challenged him to a match. I'm sorry for what I'm going to do. Oh, no. Let's all be terrified of Seth Rollins. Who knows what he's going to do next? Maybe next week he'll low blow someone and challenge him to a match. Oh, watch out for this guy. Watch out for this renegade. Right? The match between AJ Styles and Orton ended in the worst way conceivable. It was AJ Styles' fault, I have to say. The spot was going to be AJ Styles tries to go for the phenomenal forearm, and Randy Orton catches him in the air with the RKO. They go for it. AJ Styles kind of slips on the rope. Randy Orton jumps to catch him with RKO, but he corrects himself midair and lands on his feet. AJ Styles lands on the apron because he fucked up the springboard. Then instead of doing something else, instead of figuring something else out, like maybe having AJ Styles go, go in the ring, go for like a Styles clash, then he just gets out of it and RKOs him. That would have been a better finish than trying the same fucking thing again. They tried it again, but I mean immediately afterwards. So AJ Styles, imagine this. AJ Styles goes to do a springboard, fails, then tries it again immediately afterwards, and gets caught in an RKO. Like, only a retard wouldn't be able to see this coming. Like, Randy Orton told you he was going to counter it into an RKO, and you did it anyways, and he countered it into an RKO. It's so dumb. It was horrible. After the match, the OC come out and beat up Randy Orton. The Viking Raiders come out and try to, like, save the day, but they get their asses whooped by the OC. Now, I think the OC is better fit as a main event type faction in the sense that AJ Styles should be the WWE champion, right? Like, if Brock Lesnar wasn't in the picture, AJ Styles is the number one guy on Raw. By far. I don't think anybody's close. So AJ Styles should be the champion, and the OC should be tag team champions, right? And then maybe down the line, you can have them feud with, like, AOP and what's-his-face? Rollins, right? But that's not what's happening. What's happening is everyone's fighting for the U.S. title. Like, this whole circle jerk is the U.S. title. Like, AJ Styles was the U.S. champion. Randy Orton screwed him out of it. Rey Mysterio won it. Randy Orton also wanted to win it. Humberto Carrillo wanted to win it. Now, Akira Tozawa and R-Truth and Matt Hardy and who else? A bunch of other jobbers, like Ricochet, like are in a gauntlet match to become the U.S. champion. Then, that match means nothing because Seth Rollins just skips the line and challenges Rey Mysterio. So literally everyone, every singles wrestler is fighting for the U.S. title. What the fuck, man? Makes no sense. I don't like it at all. It doesn't feel right. It's just like no one is interested in trying to fight Brock Lesnar. I mean, the Royal Rumble's around the corner, man. People should be like people should start right now. Let me Google to see when the Royal Rumble is, just to see how stupid this is. You know what I mean? Like, people should start, they should get the little WrestleMania sign out. You know what I mean? Like, right now. Oh, okay. The Rumble is in January 26th, so it's in a while. I feel like typically it's like in the beginning of January, but I could be wrong, you know? So, I don't know. It says here the dates and venues. No, I guess it is late January. Why did I think it was early January? I'm probably confusing it with WrestleMania up in this bitch. So, the point is, just think about that for a second. You know what I mean? Just think about that for a second, motherfuckers. Like, even if it is in late January, that's what, 6 weeks until the Rumble. It's time to start making some statements, man. It's time to start actually saying things like, all right, who wants to fight Brock Lesnar? You know, I want to win the Royal Rumble. I want to. Like, people are focused on the U.S. title. Why? So you can be on the opening match? Doesn't make any sense. People like Seth Rollins, who just finally got removed from the title picture. He was champion like until very recently. I mean, granted, Brock Lesnar was champion for a long, long time, but you understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, Rollins eventually won it again. So what are you gonna do? You know, it's just this idea that like these people are somehow satisfied, like they're happy with just being like U.S. champion or something, right? No, absolutely not. It's just stupid, man. It's just really dumb. Like, and on SmackDown, on the other show, it's even worse. Like, you have Nakamura as the mid-card champion, and then you have Bray Wyatt as the other mid-card champion. They have two mid-card champions. Like, the Universal title, especially now that it's blue, and it's on SmackDown, it has no prestige whatsoever, man. Who gives a fuck? Like, The Fiend, who gives a shit? All of a sudden, like, The Fiend is Bray Wyatt again, and people like The Miz have no problem fighting him. So why the fuck would, like, Daniel Bryan whooped his ass last night? Daniel Bryan, he like, after The Fiend's or Bray Wyatt's match, Daniel Bryan came in, did the running knee on him, and then whooped his ass until the lights went out and he ran away like a pussy. You know, what the fuck happened to that? Daniel Bryan was like a pussy like just a few years ago. And all of a sudden he's not afraid of The Fiend. I mean, it is what it is, but come on, let's do some consistent booking up in this bitch. That's all I want, man. That's all I want. And now I'm looking at like a list of all the past Royal Rumble winners, and it's all a bunch of mid-carders. Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Nakamura, like AKA mid-card city, man. Until like 2017 when Randy Orton, and then it was Triple H, Roman Reigns, Batista, Cena, Sheamus, who also sucks ass, but whatever, I guess you can give one to Sheamus. That was like so long ago, it's not even funny. Right? Then Del Rio, Edge, Orton again, Cena again. I mean, come on, you know, just like something better. Something better, man. I'm not even asking for that much. Like, just something a bit better. You know, it's not too much to ask for. Just fewer mid-carders, more main eventers. That's all I want, man. It's just as simple as that. That's all I fucking want. Just give me, like, I can't believe I'm saying it. Take the belt off of Brock Lesnar. You know, I actually like Brock Lesnar, but if you're not even going to show up to have, like, something of a feud, you know, it's one thing for Brock Lesnar to be gone for a long time, but there's like a looming threat there, you know? Like, so for a long time, the looming threat was Braun Strowman, right? You're like, oh shit, Braun Strowman, son. Brock Lesnar has to defend the title at Royal Rumble. Like, how can he not? You know, it's like one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. So you expect someone to do that. You know, you're expecting something like this, man. So I don't know, fam. I did not enjoy this show. It felt a lot like, honestly, like last week's Raw. Like, nothing fucking changed. Nothing was advanced. Nothing was improved. Everything was exactly the same. So with that in mind, like, just the fact that it's exactly how it was, taking that into consideration with last night's pay-per-view, which felt like a glorified, not even a glorified, it felt like an inferior Raw. Like, it felt like a SmackDown, honestly, you know? Like, how come, like, after this whole NXT beat up everybody thing, why don't you take that and use that momentum to push NXT a little bit? Like, on last night's pay-per-view, there is no reason why they couldn't have thrown in, like, one NXT match. Straight up. Like, you had all the other tag matches on the line. NXT, ladder match for the tag titles. I don't even know who the tag champs are now anymore in NXT, to be honest. Who are they? I need to think about this for a second. Oh, yeah, Undisputed Era, I guess. Yeah, Undisputed Era. Yeah, exactly. Have Undisputed Era, I don't know, wrestle like a team, like, I don't know, who's a face team there? Nah, I don't even think they have any more teams. Everyone's gone. But whatever, you know, or have like Roderick Strong defend his like whatever North American title, you know? Do something, man. I mean, ideally, at least have Adam Cole, or like push forward the agenda that NXT is like an equal brand. Like, are they, like, where does everything stand? Triple H kept saying, like, oh, NXT is like a third brand now. Really? Are they going to have 1/3 of the participants in the Royal Rumble? Or are they going to have like three people like they do every year? Come on, man. Like, just have some sort of intelligence and some sort of consistency. This is unacceptable. It's too poor. It's piss poor, motherfuckers. It's piss poor. I don't like it at all. So with that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed the first ever Hater Mania 0, motherfuckers. So I thought it was pretty dope. Spoke about a lot of things. I don't know how many views my videos are going to get, because obviously the more videos I post, the fewer views, like you know what I mean? Like, cumulatively, they're going to obviously get more views. But like, if I post one video a week, that's going to get like a lot more views than if I post 2 videos a week. I know that, but it's not about that. It's about catering to the people, motherfuckers. You know, if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, blow me. How about that? Yeah, I'm saying. So before we go, since this is the last video of the day, I'm just gonna what's it called? Fucking once again, just say thanks to all the subscribers. And like I said, subscribe today if you want a shout out. So the shout out that we're doing today is there was a few people. Like, I think I forgot someone last time. Well, we have today Carl Hart, new subscriber today. Carl Hart, welcome, hot Carl. You know what I'm saying? And then we have another new subscriber, Maurice, up in this piece. Maurice in the piece. Who else? There was a few other ones. I'm sorry if I forget you guys, because you know, you ain't bad kids. You know, I just for some reason there was one that I forgot to do a shout out to. I will remember you, motherfuckers. I will remember you. So don't worry. What else? There was someone else that I wanted to address. It was some guy with some like stupid ass picture of himself singing or something. What was his name? I'm trying to find him in my fucking whatever notification thing. Edward Crowley with his little what's it called? With his guitar. You know what? I don't have anything against you, Edward Crowley, but you say this? Question mark. This is what I'm supposed to accept as a substitute for the Smart Busters? You do not shit on this product anywhere near enough to justify me watching this video. Wow, Edward Crowley, thank you for your irrelevant opinion, kid. I suggest you keep watching, just like I told you. Watch 25 reasons why AEW sucks, and now watch 25 other reasons why a bunch of other shit sucks to see that I do, in fact, rip on all this stuff just as much, if not more, than anybody else, including the Smart Busters, motherfuckers. Yeah, one of my life goals is to have the Smart Busters watch this video, and so I can tell them that I'm a big fan up in this bitch, you know what I'm saying? I consider myself to be the spiritual successor, so you're gonna have to deal with that, Edward Crowley. What the fuck? That sounds like a made-up name. Anyways, that's how that goes. So stay tuned for I think the next video is gonna be this Wednesday for AEW. So we'll see, motherfuckers. We'll see. Anyways, good night and take care of yourself, and don't forget to whack off before you go to bed so you don't go and fuck yourself some more. You know what I'm saying, motherfucker?